In its essence, I think the certain types of technology are there that if you don't have it, I mean, if you don't have the base level, you're going to be out of business. For I'd say most firms in the buy side, CEP probably is not quite there yet in terms of it's a must-have. However, for firms that either are high velocity, high frequency traders, again, I just can't imagine. And whether you call it a stat arb or a hedge fund, or I guess one is a subset of the other, I can't see how they could do business, with the trading that they're doing without having the CEP, the complex event processing. But even the non-high frequency traders, the sort of the massive organizations, I need to mention names, but we know who they are. Even if they don't do that sort of high velocity trading, but just from the sheer scale of their efforts, they need this sort of called booster to their processing. And my understanding is that some firms don't realize that it's not just for the front office that you could use this sort of technology, but if you have millions of transactions that need to be processed, if you're using the CEP, they'll be processed a lot more quickly. So I think it really cuts across the board in terms of the necessity.
Okay.
Absolutely, it's another one of these things. I mean, people talk about fragmentation. Some people think of it as a good thing in terms of that it's synonymous with more competition, and to some extent that is true. But be that as it may, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I mean, it's a reality. There may be some consolidation, but then the way this industry is with a lot of smart people with no ideas, then as soon as it consolidates, then it'll grow. So I think we're destined or doomed, depending on your perspective, to always have dozens of places to trade, particularly the large name stocks like like an IBM, for example. And in that case, you need complex event processing so that you can actually handle the various sources of data that are coming in and aggregate them in real time. And that's one of many, I guess, types of functions that can be provided by the complex event processing. I think its time has come, and the need is only going to increase. I mean, as the industry becomes more and more electronic, and there's more trading and more locations, more firms, and the volume of the data increases, and the frequency and the velocity. I can't imagine at some point in time where firms could be able to do business in this industry, particularly trading business, without having some complex event processing software. There's no question about it. I mean, it's when you sit down and think of it, there are very few parts of the industry where complex event processing can play a very important enabling role. And certainly compliance, pre-trade compliance, post-trade compliance, surveillance of market activity. There's no question, and it's I certainly see it as a growth market. The management I've grown to know very well. I mean, I think any firm, any industry, any type of firm, I mean, you got to start with the senior management. The management is really the key strength. The technology, I leave to others who know technology better than I do, but from those I speak to, their technology certainly also is top class. But I think it's the senior management and all the people that I've had contact with the organization are first-class professionals, but they're also very nice people, which I think is a nice thing. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's happening to a great extent already. I mean, certainly from the sell side, more and more of the firms, and this for some time, and the ones that have it are rapidly moving in a direction where, if you're a trader in a particular industry like autos, it's not just going to be U.S. It's going to be autos across the board. And likewise, with the buy side firms, I mean, if you're a portfolio manager and you're covering certain industry, I mean, it's going to be across the board. And likewise, from the research side, to the extent, I shouldn't say this, but to the extent that people are taking security, research from sell side firms, the analysts are basically covering it, sort of globally. So you're not just an auto analyst, for the U.S. I mean, so I think that's certainly the case. But the question I thought you were asking, which in terms of how does it change trading? When you're having this global focus, and I guess it's to a great extent a regulatory challenge as well, which I see IOSCO taking a much bigger role, the IOSCO, the International Organization of Securities Commissioners, the regulators of the major markets. They get together more and more frequently to deal with these sort of questions. Well, I think I go back to management, writ large is the most important factor for success, in any endeavor, and not to underplay the technology. Obviously, you need good technology, you need that substance there, but you need the management vision and the strategy. And I think what's also impressive and will certainly play to Aleri's strengths in terms of providing service to their clients is that they're a global organization. They have offices around the world. They have growing business in Europe. They have a presence in London. They have a presence in Switzerland. I'm sure other places that I'm probably not even aware of. And I know they're taking a highly visible role in some of the implementation efforts for major firms, for MiFID, for the what some people partly correctly say is the almost Reg NMS lookalike in the European Union, in the EU. So I think those are certainly strengths that Aleri brings to the table, but that certainly will provide even more benefits to their global customers who have to have the global view of the trading markets.